All right, welcome to the KISS FAQ Beyond the Board. There was a topic on the message board the other day asking a very important question. Why the hate for Read My Body? And it almost sounds rhetorical. It's kind of funny to even think as, why this song is one of those that frequently ends up on fans' least favorite KISS song lists. Now, Southern Kiss, thank you for the topic.
Here we go!
I'm not laughing at you or the topic, but it is a fair question. Why is it hated so much? That poster loves it, thinking it's perfect 1980s cheese and has a great drum intro. Well, it certainly has a great drum intro, whether that's Eric or a drum machine is a different matter for anything off Hot in the Shade. Hot in the Shade is an interesting album. A lot of people seem to assume that because they were songs, in some cases, developed from demos, that there's a lower quality. Yet there's a vast difference between the confirmed demos for most of those songs and the versions that ended up on the album. They're really quantifiably, and in fact, there's enough demo material to make more than a decent Hot in the Shade box set were one palatable to any party involved. Other than Bruce. I'm sure Bruce would be, heck yeah, let's do a super deluxe of that. And you know what? I'd be with him in full agreement. But with Read My Body, it kind of follows a period where there were some really A for effort, D for originality or execution songs. Let's Put the X in Sex the previous year, Quick and Dirty Songs, You Make Me Rock Hard, which was, material Paul came up with as quickly as possible to include new tracks on Smashes, Thrashes, and Hits. The previous year, 87, you've got the dreadful Bang Bang You, which completely jumped the shark for its inclusion of KISS song titles in its lyrics. But I think Read My Body really runs into several problems. Number one is that it doesn't sound original. It sounds like cheesy copycat pop metal, and the song people most often mention in relation to Read My Body is, of course, Pour Some Sugar on Me by Def Leppard, which had lots of elements that are lacking on Read My Body. Number one, humor. Number two, that had been a massive hit, so it had already been done. So again, it looks like they're chasing what was hot 2 years ago at the time that it's coming out. So behind the curve rather than ahead of it, as had been the case with something like All Hell's Breaking Loose, which again used a little bit of that. I guess I don't want to call it rap, but spoken, more poetic cadence. On the intro. On the Crazy Nights tour as well, they had toured with Anthrax, who had combined hard rock with elements of rap metal into a very unique form. I'm the Man. To this day, watch the beat. So, in copying it and echoing that, the hysteria-like vocal phrasing, it was way out of Paul's kind of ability. It was inauthentic and trend chasing. The lyrics, all right, so the lyrics are pretty bad. Read My Body, turn the page, blah blah blah, but KISS lyrics in themselves aren't exactly Bob Dylan, nor should they be. It's fun, dumb rock and roll. So I think some of the lyrics are a bit cringe. They were cringy back then and they're cringy now, but I don't know whether lyrics are enough to damn this song to an eternity on one of the levels of hell. 15 songs on Hot in the Shade. There's an awful lot of songs. There are far too many songs on that album. And while they were trying to stretch the bounds and fill up that CD, the amount of stuff that then is categorized as filler on the album balloons. So where you'd often have 10 songs on an album, you could say 3. When you've got 15 and it becomes 7 or fillerish, And again, opinions, it's all very subjective. It will vary on what is filler and what is killer. But still, it is too much material, and this one really seems to fall down at the bottom again of most people's lists on it. It's a creative low period for the group. Yeah, you've got great songs, again, subjectively speaking, like Rise to It and Forever. There are a couple of Gene songs on that album which I think are absolutely spectacular. But it's such an uneven album that it makes Read My Body really stand out. I mean, when you really stand out as the so-called, in quotes, bad song on an album like Hot in the Shade, it's got to be pretty bad. And you can't imagine this going head-to-head against Pour Some Sugar on Me or even getting on the radio in any sense of the word. Now, it's not a good vehicle for Paul Stanley either. It doesn't do justice to his singing technique. He kind of adopts what Joe Elliott did instead of Paul. So vocally, he's not being authentic to himself. And while it's okay to break new ground, the success of Breaking New Ground is measured by the success of the resulting art, and this one's a failure, so that wasn't successful. I mean, we can look back on when Paul changed his vocal style, say on The Elder, and we can say, wow, he's really going outside the box there and trying something new, something brave. But on Read My Body, he doesn't get that same benefit in my mind. The song itself doesn't fit Kiss's identity in any way. It's not heavy, it's not glam, it's not catchy. I guess we could debate how catchy it is because when you listen to, say, isolated stems for it, and you could take out some of the gang call-outs that just are like a blundering water buffalo throughout the song and just trash all its sonics, then it becomes a little bit more catchy. So it certainly had a chance to be better than it was, but it tried to be too much by, again, a kitchen sink mentality of let's add another layer, let's just do more. Now, why is it so disliked now? Because it's had so many years of it's become a meme for a bad Kiss song. It's become a laughingstock. It's become an illustration of when things don't align with the majority view. So it's never really gotten over that. I don't think it would have taken on a good form live. I don't think there's really much more to be said than that. Why is it disliked? I think it just comes from a period where there was too much substandard material included on an album in an attempt. Well, we don't know what the intent was, really, other than I know that in some interviews it was mentioned that because CDs were allowing longer albums and Def Leppard had 63 minutes on Hysteria, that there was a pressure to use that space rather than to use the space wisely. It almost became an early fault of the CD media of having that capability to go up to, I think it was 78 minutes back then for the original CD format. Left some artists feeling that they had to really fill that up for an album rather than simply do the best for the album. And there's a reason why Kiss's contracts previously had only required 9 songs minimum and a certain running length, nowhere near 63 or 80 minutes for that matter. And they probably should have just stuck to that, and to have picked the strongest 9 or 10 or perhaps even 11. And they could have, I think, had a much stronger album, and Read My Body would have been left as a B-side, and it might have shown up on a vault as something we tried, and at the end of the day, we didn't think it was good enough to make an album. Too late now, so that's why I'm going to say people dislike it. I'm not going to say hate, because hate is such an overused and abused word that it's almost become a meme. The moment you dislike or disagree with something, you're a hater. Or you hate something. Well, no, I hate stubbing my toe. I don't hate Read My Body, but I'm not going to play Read My Body any more than I'm going to deliberately stub my toe either. All right, thanks for the quick bite here on this topic. We'll be doing more of these in the future.
Read my body, yeah.
Oh, hey, you're still here, watching or listening.
why don't you hit that subscribe button or click the like one? And if you want even more, click on the join button on YouTube. Thanks for your support.